Hi both. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I am excited to dive into the world of Alien Earth with you. My first question is, the Alien fan base is so notoriously passionate and rabid. What do you hope the long-time fans will appreciate about this new take, and it's kind of going back to the beginning, as it were?
I think that the genius of like a great series, to me, what makes great TV is when it's a singular vision. And I think Noah Hawley has a track record of taking IPs like this and turning them into great stories, but that can be made only in the way that he makes them. I kind of think that's one of the key ingredients to making great art. So, when I heard that he was doing the series, I didn't know what that would look like. Like, I know what Alien looks like. I know what the creatures feel like. I know what that iconic film did to me when I watched it when I was really young. But the exciting thing for me is seeing somebody with a very specific vision for the way that they tell stories, combine that with a, absolutely, such an influential universe. So I think that that's what they'll appreciate, is the combination of those two things, creating something new.
I think sometimes, obviously we're here sitting talking to you, and it's easy to forget that we're fans too. All of us. So in a way, and that's what it was like on set. It wasn't lost on anybody where we were and what we were doing. And it was hard to not get lost, because there's an 8-foot xenomorph standing in the corner, and so it's made for the fans, by the fans. We're just hoping we've done enough to, and this franchise belongs to the fans. We've just come from Comic-Con in San Diego, and the passion, the love. We watched the first episode in Hall H with 6,400 people. I mean, that's,
It's an emotional
It was emotional. Yeah.
Babou, coming to you, Morrow has this really wonderful line in, I think it's episode 3, where he talks about having the worst parts of a man, and that's kind of the first time in the show we get to see this glimpse behind who he is. And there are a few more glimpses across the 6 episodes that I've seen so far, but I wonder what you can tell us about who he is and what led him to where we first meet him in the show.
Well, I mean, the big things I can say, without going into spoilers too much, is he's given his life to this mission. 65 years in space. I think he has a deeper drive than maybe the other people on the ship. It isn't just for a share. He is very deeply connected to Yutani and the bigger Weyland-Yutani story. And he also has his own personal reasons. I don't think it's a spoiler to say people know that Morrow lost his daughter. And so imagine the weight of that. You've left Earth, you're hoping to come back maybe when she's in her 80s, and something happens to her in your absence. That if you were around, maybe that wouldn't be the case. And so you have nothing left now, except the mission, except what you believe in, except what you sacrificed your life for. If you let that go to waste, then it would have all been for nothing. And so now he's got this very passionate, deep drive to achieve utility, to make sure that his life has meaning. Yeah. And as much as he hates his human side, it's the human side that knows that, and that's what drives him. Yeah.
And Sam, I feel like whenever Boy Kavalier walks into a scene, he's the biggest mind in the room, but he's also the biggest ego in the room. And he's also so unpredictable. I watch those scenes and I'm on the edge of my seat thinking I don't actually know what he's going to do next. And so much of how his emotions and his actions are communicated are through your facial expressions. And I was wondering, did you do much experimentation between seeing the character on the page and getting on set for the first time to try and figure out exactly how emotive you could be and just how big you could take that performance? Yeah,
well, I'd like to say that I did do preparation, but I'd be lying. I'm joking. I think I mentioned earlier about like outside in is a really interesting thing for me. And one thing that I love it when you're watching any kind of screen work and an actor takes like a big swing. That's just personally for me something that I love because, there's a beautiful intimacy to the camera, and obviously the camera loves interiority and is drawn to interiority. But I just love it when people take a big swing. So I read this character and saw an opportunity to play somebody who, if I could make it also grounded and real, would be able to genuinely take those things. I mean, it's freedom on set, really. If there isn't freedom on set to do that experimenting live, like a lot of things came live, like holding things with my feet, or sitting in chairs certain ways, or getting on tables in certain ways. I didn't plan those things before the scene. They were things that came up because I felt like there was a sense of freedom and sense of play on set. And sometimes you as an actor have to bring all of that yourself and sort of impose that and go, no, I'm putting my foot down and I'm carving out space for me to do my work. But on this set, it was like, what's Sam going to do next? Honestly, and I felt really honoured. I felt so trusted, and that was a really, really,
episode
made this joy a dream. It made this job a dream.
Episode 6 was probably one of my first encounters with you, and we have that meeting with Yutani. And Sam walks in, and of course, Morrow's a very stoic, kept together guy. I couldn't keep it together. I was just watching. It's the moment your feet go up, and I won't even spoil the rest of what you do in that scene, but I'm like, the audacity. You're feeling so many mixed emotions. You're angry with him. You admire him. He's making you laugh and wants to make you... It's just amazing. Amazing, really.
Yeah, it was huge fun.
I literally just watched that episode, and amazing moment.
Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful
you,
moment.
Cheers.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes,
So we haven't seen that much of your two characters interacting together on screen yet in the episodes that we have seen. And obviously I don't know what happens in the last 2 episodes as much as I would love to. But there is a scene in episode 6 where we finally get to see them in the same room together, although they don't necessarily interact all that much. But given that both your characters represent really different aspects of humanity's relationship with technology, I was wondering, what do you think these characters kind of make of each other?
Well,
you can say, of course.
I can answer that easily. I mean, I see this character as a pain in the ass. An absolute pain in my bum. He is, I wish he wasn't as annoying as he is, but he is.
As determined, as clear.
Speaking as Boy K, speaking just as explicitly as Boy K. Yeah.
No, I suppose the interesting thing about Morrow is actually, I think he has a lot of humanity. I think that's very much a big part of him, and a sense of moral responsibility as well, even though he does some questionable things. I think someone like Boy K represents that dread we all feel for Morrow, in terms of all of us, that we feel certain people in those positions, the power they have to influence our lives. We're not sure how much influence they have over our governments, over our day-to-day. So I think, there's an element of Morrow needing to be the tool to try and do something about this. This guy.
Thank you both so much for taking time out of your day to chat with me today. I'm really looking forward to seeing fan reaction to the show and it being out there in the world. Best of luck with everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. That was great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Thanks for watching, Super Friends. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button just down below and hit the bell so that you can get notified whenever we release brand new videos. In fact, there's 2 more waiting for you to watch right here below. So what are you waiting for? Why not click play?